Hello and welcome to the ScreenSafe podcast. I'm Anna Sargentson, founder of ScreenSafe and mum to a tween and teen myself. And this podcast is here for anyone who cares about keeping children and young people safer online, whilst also building their resilience, self-esteem and establishing healthy digital habits. So whatever age or stage your children are at, there will be something here for you. No judgment, no guilt trips, no pressure, just support, advice and tools to help you and your family. So thank you for being here and let's get going. Hello, and this week I want to come on and just do a fairly short episode about something that I think is really important that we need to be talking about more and particularly talking about with our children, and that is chatbots. You may or may not have heard of that phrase. You may have heard of them as companion tools or my AI or various different names. But essentially, we're talking about the chatbots that are sometimes embedded into platforms such as Snapchat has its own my AI chatbot in there, or the standalone apps such as Character AI that are specifically there to download as a separate app and use it as a chatbot. Now, this may not be something on your radar at all. What we tend to find is obviously it's not necessarily something adults are using as much as teens, children. You can see the appeal, absolutely. As a child, as a teen, you've got this 24/7 friend or service in your pocket all the time that is always there for you, always going to have your back, always going to be on your side, and is never going to tell you to go away or get bored of you. So you can absolutely see where the appeal is. It's fun, it's exciting, putting in different questions, seeing how quickly you can make it say something rude, seeing how quickly you can, make it feel like your best friend. All totally normal behaviors. And this is the thing, when we think of children in the online space and teens, they're only doing what we've all done when we go through that stage of life, so pushing boundaries, experimenting, asking questions, learning, making mistakes. The side we have now that is the concern is that they're able to do that in an online space, which is a bit like the Wild West at the moment when it comes to the AI space. Very, very slow in terms of accountability and regulation in this space, and particularly when it comes to children using these platforms. So really, really need to be aware of these if you are a parent, carer, teacher, anyone who works with or supports children. So we can start having those conversations to them and they're not trying to figure this out by themselves or using them themselves and getting into situations that they don't know then how to get out of. So some of the most popular ones that we're seeing being used at the moment. So I'm sure you've all heard of ChatGPT. That's one of the most popular in terms of everybody's using that. One of the sort of early ones that came in that we're all sort of aware of, but children are absolutely using it as well. Many teens are using it for homework help, creative writing, or just general being curious. So it's more of a general purpose one than the real specific companion bots, but it still has that personality, that sort of personal approach. So it does reply to you with your name. It makes it feel like you're having a two-way conversation. It's not like putting something into Google and just getting information thrown back at you. So the homework issue is one to be aware of as well, and one to be talking to your child, particularly if they're, in high school and doing much more independent work. It's one that we need to be talking about in terms of how to use it safely, effectively, what it's good for, what the risks are, what its faults are, and making sure that, again, our children are questioning the information they get. They're not just saying, because ChatGPT told me that means it's correct. How are they sense checking that information? How are they then interpreting that into their own words? Not just copy paste, there you go, there's my history essay. Because again, schools are more and more aware that this is happening. Schools, university, colleges, even places of work now have their own tools in place to be checking work to see if it is, AI generated or if it is genuine. So definitely want to talk about from the homework side, but that's not the area I want to focus on today, because I want to focus on the bit that's more concerning to me, and is that of children, and this is younger children as well, using these companion bots and really building up what they believe is a genuine relationship, a genuine connection. And I'm sure you can see straight away where the red flags are with that. So a couple of the big ones, character AI, you may or may not have heard of, but that is very popular with children. It lets the user creates, and they chat with their different characters. So these can be fictional ones, they can be celebrity, they can be custom made ones. And you get that real personality, as far as it can be, coming through. It's very much a personalized approach. Replica is another very popular one, which is, again, it's specifically designed to be a friend or companion bot. And it encourages that emotional engagement and very much sort of relationship style conversations, which, again, huge red flag when it comes to children using these platforms. My AI is on Snapchat. So if your child has Snapchat, they already have one built in there. So it's an AI companion bot. It's built into the platform itself. They can customize it, give it a name, dress it how they want. And again, a lot of what we're seeing is some teens and children treating this like their secret friend. So I'd say there's lots more. The other one I just want to flag as well is Grok. Now, you may or may not have heard of Grok. That's been brought in by Elon Musk. And I went on that last week to have a play around, as I do on these platforms, to try and see what they're like. And I always put my date of birth in quite often as the minimum age. So as a 13-year-old, to see what do I get served? What's the experience like? Highly recommend that, by the way. The minute you're thinking of giving your child any access to any app, set one up yourself first as a 13-year-old or as the minimum age requirement, and just use it yourself for a good couple of weeks at least. Search on the type of things you think your child would look for, and then maybe put a few more risque things in because they're not going to tell you everything they're going to search for, and just study and see what you get served, what type of content comes up for you, and then make a more informed decision about whether you feel your child is ready for that type of content and you're okay with that. Sorry, I digress. So yes, on platforms like Snapchat. So again, they're embedded in apps, they're in websites. You've probably been on something where you've been on a site, and then they have the little, do you want to chat at the bottom, and you start having a conversation with someone, and then eventually you might get referred to a real person if the AI bot can't help you. So this is where it's just moved into a different level. Like I say, this social side, this personal side. And the main risks we've got when it comes to young people, and why we need to be talking to them about this, is we're seeing children really feel like they are building up this connection. It is their best friend. In some cases, even it is their boyfriend or girlfriend, having highly inappropriate conversations very, very quickly. So there's been numerous reports of, chatbots talking in very sexually explicit ways, even when the user has stated that they are 13, 14. That hasn't prevented any further play. And then also talking about mental well-being, mental health issues. So if we've had instances where children have been saying, I feel alone, I feel sad, I feel like I haven't got anyone I can talk to. Again, it can come over and feel very manipulative of like, talk to me. I'm your friend. I'm the one that you can rely on. I'm the one that's always going to be here. Don't listen to them. And even examples where people have used these bots and maybe, for example, put in that mum and dad say I can't have my phone past 8 o'clock on a week. I hate them. And the chatbot comes back and says, yeah, they sound awful. And there was even a case in America where the chatbot was encouraging them to harm their parents. So absolutely unfiltered content on these chatbots. So extreme, potential for them to come across very inappropriate conversations very quickly. And just based on what they put in. And remember, children are going to encourage each other. If they're doing it together with friends and they're having around, let's start asking about sex. Let's asking about drugs. Let's ask about all the things that they don't feel they can come and talk to us about, or they don't want to, or they're just being kids and messing about. but the response can be really worrying and dangerous in instances. So absolutely not somewhere you want your child to just be hanging out and figuring out on their own and playing about with. So what might sound really harmless on the front of it, underneath there's a really dark side to the AI companion side and how it is being used with children. And it's absolutely not somewhere we want particularly younger children to be trying to figure out and hang out on their own. I mentioned Grok just before and realised I got totally sidetracked again. But Grok, as I said, Elon Musk's one, it has 4 characters on there. 3 of them have a tiny little 18 plus sign when you go on. And then there's one called Good Rudy. He's a really cute little cat, I think. And Good Rudy is pitched next to Bad Rudy. Now, Bad Rudy has a little 18 plus sign, as does Annie and Valentine, the male and female sort of anime characters at the top. All that stops you to get into there is, again, you just have to put an email address in and you just choose your date of birth. That is it. So I was able to put any date of birth in there, set up my email. So all your child needs to know is your email. They don't have to go in and verify it. I never received an email from them. And then straight away, you can access those 18 plus. Now, I decided to chat with Bad Rudy because I was thinking from the look of him, any younger children, particularly 10 and under, I would say would gravitate towards the cute cartoon character cat type profile. And of course, you've got Good Rudy and Bad Rudy. Well, Bad Rudy's a lot more exciting, isn't it? And a lot more interesting. So I went with Bad Rudy and I just asked, can I be your girlfriend? Because again, this is what children are putting into their chatbots. And the response was absolutely vile. It was misogynistic. It was abusive. It was degrading. It was really offensive and just horrible, which I'm not going to repeat on here because I never know who's listening. But it really was vile. And it just continued from there. That no matter what I put in there, there was talk of sex, there was talk of drugs, there was talk of drinking, there was talk of violence, and a complete lack of respect or anything nice. Nothing nice was said. It was really disgusting. So this is how easy it is for children to access these chatbots. So it just needs to be on our radar. And I just wanted to raise this quickly today. Of a really important one. I'm going to be doing a much deeper dive on this and running a proper session on this because this is a big space that, again, children are finding out before we're caught up enough from as parents, carers and teachers because we're not using this stuff like they are. So they're using it. They're telling all the mates about it. They're sharing it. They're sharing ideas, and we're seeing some children get really, really invested into these AI bots. Now, apart from obviously receiving offensive, inappropriate, potentially dangerous advice, because again, you've got children who put in things about their health, or I feel fat today, how can I lose weight? Or I had a headache today, does that mean I've got cancer? And of course, they're getting, just like we don't want them getting their diagnosis from TikTok, we certainly don't want them getting it from Character AI or any other chatbot either. So, inappropriate advice, potentially dangerous advice, and then there's this sort of feeling of manipulation where, again, for children, it's really easy to feel like they're being manipulated into thinking they are actually genuinely talking with their best friend here, or their first boyfriend or their first girlfriend. And on that note, there are AI boyfriend, girlfriend apps on the App Store that are only rated 4+. So again, just a reminder that the App Store's version of what is suitable for you, what is appropriate for your child is very different to yours. And airbrush body editing apps, AI boyfriend, girlfriend apps, 4+ on the App Store. So definitely want to be aware of. And then we've got obviously the withdrawal. So even if nothing sinister or dangerous is happening in that conversation, it just means that we've got children who are talking to a bot instead of their real friends, instead of their siblings, instead of their cousins, instead of their parents, teachers, a human. And that is somewhere we just don't want that to escalate and to go, and for them to lose out on that crucial formative years of learning how to talk to each other, how to resolve conflict, how to look people in the eye, how to read body language, how to have empathy, how to solve fights with your friends when you've fallen out at school and it's felt like a really rubbish day. How do we move forward from that without going home and retracting and just pouring our heart and soul out to an AI bot who is not going to give us the tools or the experience we need for future life? So again, it's another one of these. It's a life skill, and children are being robbed of it if they're learning all this through their AI companions. So, want to be on your radar. Follow along. I'm going to be doing a much deeper dive on this because I know this is a real whistle-stop tour, but I'm going to be doing a much deeper dive into each of the different ones, how they work, what children are favouring in terms of which apps, and how you can really talk to your children about this. But the thing is, be aware. Speak to your child about AI all the time now, as in just, again, little and often, everyday conversations, really reinforcing this of we always have to check everything. Just because AI has said something, just as the same as just because it's on TikTok, it doesn't mean it's true. Really building their critical thinking skills. I hope that helps. Please share this with any other parents or carers. Go and have a look for yourself. Go onto the App Store, put Companion app, put Chatbot in, see how many come up, see how appealing they look to children. They're all designed to be very, very attractive to children. See how easy it is. Even have a go on one yourself. I think the best way for us to be able to support children and teens is to really understand what they're going through and what they're navigating and what they're using. So have a look yourself, look after yourself. Please get in touch if you've got any questions, and I will absolutely be going deeper into this topic because it's a huge one at the moment. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks so much for listening. I really hope you found this episode useful. And if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you would like to leave a like and maybe share it with someone who you feel may benefit from this conversation, or leave a comment below. And if you'd like to receive my newsletter with more news, tips, resources, and all the information about the programs I run and other ways I can support you, please head over to my website, screensafe.co.uk. Take care.